Welcome to this heavyweight matchup of the In2Detailing Drinker Plush Drying Towel versus the market newcomer Klin Deluxe Plush. On paper, the Klin is smaller and lighter, 50 by 80 and 80 GSM comparative to 60 by 90 and 1200 GSM of the Drinker. But can it compete? Can it hold its own in a new market to itself? Let's see.
Round one, fight!
So round one, off we go. Now this will be scored, all told, 5 different rounds. The first one is presentation. Now a little bit of an odd one for a drying towel, granted, but something a lot of us will do before buying is browse these shops and which one draws the eye. I have to say, for me, the Klin is a neater presentation, smaller packaging. The quality of the bag just feels a little bit better, the label as well. The In2Detailing is in a little bit of a crinkly type of bag. The label's sort of size-wise comparative to the overall presentation doesn't look quite as sharp to me. Not bad, but overall the Klin takes round number one. Once set up, we've got one more other arbitrary test, and then we're going to move on to the actual absorbency of these towels. We're going to measure that in a few different ways. But once unpackaged, you really get a feel for the heavyweight nature of both towels. Both very, very plush, very deep and very soft. You can see the Klin is noticeably smaller, but having used a Drinker for a long time now, I can say that it's not an ungainly big towel as some can be. And under the microscope, you can see the fabric structure is very, very similar on both towels, maybe just a little bit more open on the fibers on the Klin, which is on the right here, the Drinker on the left. Size-wise, just to verify that as well, a little bit of shrinking to be taken into account from packaging, both pretty much on the money. Why am I testing this? Well, it's because I wanted to be thorough, and I'm also going to test the overall GSM of the towel just to compare there. So that's actually the first part here is the dry weight of the towel, just to establish that. This inadequately sized jug was just so that I could store the towel in something that wasn't contacting the floor, and you can see that the Klin comes in with a dry weight of 476 grams, the In2Detailing 612. Now that does mean in terms of the true GSM, the Drinker calculates at 1,133, so a tiny bit under what they claim. The Klin actually calculates at 1,190. Now, it's either 50% more than they think it is, or because it's double-sided, it's actually a 600 GSM true measure on this towel, so it's actually 25% less dense than they claim. Testing of the linting. Now, this was a real weak point for the version 1 of the In2Detailing's towel. The version 2, I have to say, actually does beat the Klin. Neither lints terribly, but you can see the tape residue here is relatively clear on the In2Detailing, comparative to just a very fine film of lint on the Klin version. We are splitting hairs between two premium towels here by a significant margin than not a bad linting towel. But overall, I'm going to have to give the win on this one to the In2Detailing Drinker. So that's one round apiece. First of the water tests is a dry absorption test. So we've got a 5ml syringe set up, and it's a timed race to 2.5ml of absorption. Now with the In2Detailing's Drinker, it starts absorbing immediately. Why is it relevant? I will come back to that. It takes a good steady pace, no real let up, no real slow, and for a very specific part of the towel to be doing all of the absorption. It ends up clocking in at 2 minutes and 22 seconds to absorb the full 2.5ml. And then we compared that across to the Klin towel. The Klin towel, by the same measure, 2.5ml absorption. It does actually beat by just almost 4 seconds, 2.22. Now, in terms of the way it does that, it's a little bit interesting in that the first reaction for the towel is not to absorb. It really does take a little bit of going. On a side-by-side test, which I'll show you in a minute, the first 1ml of absorption on the In2Detailing is gone before the Klin even really gets going. Once it does get going, it motors at a good old pace, and as you can see, actually catches up and just pips it. Now, on balance, I'm going to give the win on this round to the Drinker, and the reason for that is this. When drying a car and you get to the tight work, the small gaps, I want that immediate absorption. I want it to be drawing the fluid out and not to have to hold the towel there until it decides it wants to get going. So all in all, on a dry representation, the Drinker for me is the better towel, although they're pretty evenly matched once they do absorb. So I'm going to give this round to the Drinker. Next up, we have the wet weight round. So with this one, the bowl I've just weighed there showed you 114 grams. I've done that because the bowl weighs more than this scale would zero back to. Now, the idea for the test was to load these towels up to a point of saturation, 4.5 litres of water put into both towel, and then a case of draining off just the excess, what was left after that, and weighing what was left. So remember, when I show you these weights in a second, we've got to remove 114 grams for the bowl and the dry weight for the towel to get the complete saturated weight holding capacity. You can see there, no drips coming from the Klin. That was what we'd achieved with both towels, and a weight there 3884. So with the removal of 114 grams for the bowl and 476 grams gives the Klin a full holding capacity of 3,294 grams, or 3.294 litres of water, a massive amount. 4599 for the In2Detailing, again minus dry weight and bowl, gives it 3.873, so almost 4 litres of water holding capacity. So this round 2 goes to the Drinker. Final round, as you guys probably have already calculated, is a bit of a moot one, since the Drinker has a 3-to-1 lead, but this is the wet absorbency test. Now on this one, the Klin actually does take it. So if your preference is to prime a towel, or you are drying multiple cars, then you can give a little bit of credence to your decision based on this. The Klin and, in actual fact, both improve massively to around about 30 odd seconds absorption rate on the 2.5 mil. But all in all, on balance, an overall score of 3-2 in favour of the Drinker. Considering as well this is £2 cheaper than the Klin, I have to give it the win. It does win out on this particular test. All told, I'm basing that decision on my usage. So that is one of a hobbyist, of an amateur, that I will just dry a car and be done with it. And I'm not really one for taking a towel out, drenching it, wringing it out and then drying the towel from there. I just want to grab a dry towel from the week before and dry. So all in all, on balance, the In2Detailing does take the win. I've dropped the links below if you want to check out either. Am I wrong? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comment section below. And also, whilst you're there passing a comment, let me know what other products you'd like to see in a head-to-head, and I'll get them arranged as soon as I can. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. Hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.